Hello, guys, welcome back, and today we're gonna be talking about Fate Remnant Collide. So, yeah, let us begin. So, we go to the perspective of our boy Walter, as Walter would just be waking up from his sleep, as he would say this. Morning, guys, he would say. As after saying this, one of them would say this, specifically Harmony, as she would say this. Morning, she would say. As after saying this, another person would wake up, being that of our girl, Tina. As Tina would say this. Morning, she would say. As after doing so, one of them would say this, specifically Walter. Hmm. Alright, guys, let's start getting ready, he would say. As after saying that, he would start getting up as he would get ready for, the day. As before they can, Harmony would say this. As Harmony would say this. Hmm? As she would look around and would see not Izuku, I meant Rex's bed is basically undone. Or not even used, in fact. As she would say this. Huh, weird, she would say. As one of them would say this, specifically, Tina. Hey, Harmony, what is it? She would say. As she would say this. Oh, it seems to be something weird, she would say. As she would say this. What is it exactly? She would say. As one of them would say this, specifically, Walter. As Walter would say this. Hmm. The, why is why is Rex's bed seem to be, you know, not been used, you would say? As one of them would say this. How can you tell? Said Tina. As Harmony would say this. It's just seems to be, not been used. In fact, why she would start looking around as she would start looking around their dorm as she would say this. Huh, I wonder where Rex is, she would say. As after saying that, one of them would say this. Yeah, maybe he's currently making breakfast, she would say. As she would say this, specifically, you know, Harris. I meant Harmony. She would say, no. I checked the kitchen and nobody made anything. Huh, she would say. As after saying that, Walter would say this. Huh, it seems like Pana has gone somewhere. Or at least I hope so, he would say. As one of them would say this. Yeah, hope so myself, she would say, said Harmony. As after saying that, they would decide to just make breakfast themselves. For, Walter, he would decide to make some simple stew as everybody would start getting ready to go to class. So, as class would went by, they would not see Rex, like at all. So everybody was currently confused, as while they were basically waiting for their teammates, specifically, Team Wrath, they would also notice another team, being that of Team Ruby, or at least, without the B, as in Blake. As, Blake was not with them, as one of them would say this, specifically one of them being that of Weiss, as she would say this. Hey, where's Rex, she would say, as she would say this, specifically Harmony. Uh, no, we never really saw him. In fact, he was not in our dorm room. As one of them would say this, specifically Ruby, you think he might have, as she would say this, specifically, specifically Yang, as she would say this. Yeah, it seems so, she would say. As one of them would say this. Seems so what, she would say. Specifically Harmony. As one of them would say this. Yeah, this is something to sound like they've been kidnapped, he would say. Specifically Walter. As, Ruby would say this. No, I think it might have become, I think it might be because of, as both of them would start, specifically, both Yang and Ruby would start looking at Weiss. As she would say this. What? She would say. As she would say this, specifically Ruby. Well, maybe it's because Blake. As she would say this. Oh, that damn. She would basically, slam her hands on onto the table, as everybody was a bit confused. As one of them would say this. Um, what happened? Said one of them. As being that of Tina, as she would say this, specifically Weiss. Hmm, let's just say Blake is one of them, she would say. Because after that, we would go to the perspective of our main protagonist, being that of Rex. As we currently see Rex. Rex is currently with Blake, as Blake would say this. So, can you, explain something, she would say, as he would say this. What is that exactly, he would say. As she would say this. Well, you seem to be nicer than anybody else. In fact, you seem to not disrespect us Faunus's, she would say. As he would say this. Specifically Rex. Well, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, you're basically just human, but, well, with more features, he would say. As she would say this. Hmm, I guess so, she would say. As he would say this. Anyway, so you're planning to try and find a way to basically disprove about, the whole White Fangs basically stealing the dust thing, he would say. As she would say this. Well, that's the plan, she would say. As the new member of their little, like, team currently is the monkey girl, as he would say this. So, what about you, Star? He would say, as she would say this. As she would say this. Well, I think it would be a great idea to work with you guys. Besides, I think you're quite interesting, she would say. Especially you, overpowered boy over there, she would say. As he would say this. Overpowered boy, he would say, confused. As she would say this. Well, yeah, you're called the Invincible King, so it makes you overpowered, she would say. As he would say this. Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but it's still sort of wrong, he would say. As she would say this. Huh? Then why is. As he would say this. I think it's just over embellishment, he would say. As after saying that, she would say this. Oh, so they just idolize you, she would say, as he would say this. Yeah, almost similar to, like, Pyra, he would say. As she would say this. Oh, do you know Pyronikos, right? The invincible girl, or the invincible queen, she would say. As he would say this. Yeah, we've been sort of rivals, he would say. And actually kind of like friends, he would say. As one of them would say this, being that of, like, Blake, as she would say this. So, um, are you perhaps, well, have anything for each other? As, Rex would say this. No. In fact, we're just call ourselves friends. As after saying that, she would say this. Oh, okay, she would say. As after that, he would say this. So, what are we supposed to do then? He would say. As she would see this. Specifically, Blake, as she would see this. Well, it seems that every single time that the White Fang, or at least supposedly the White Fang, seems to target the mostly dust abundant areas, especially dust cargo, and also shipments, and not only that, also dust shops. She would say, specifically Blake, as not Izuku, I meant Rex. God dang it, as Rex would say this. Huh, I see. He would say, as one of them would say this. Said a somewhat interested, son, or, Star in this case, as Star would say this. Ooh, I know, she would say, as she would start looking through, some documents, as she would say this. Here, she would say, as she would slam something down on the table, as she would say this. Well, I did heard about something about a new shipment of dust currently that's actually being run by, well, a famous dust company. You might have heard it, she would say. Not Izuku, I meant Rex. I meant Rex. Rex would say this. Oh, let me guess. Schnee Dust Company, he would say. As she would say this. Yep, and we need to find a way to get into that area. That's the main problem, she would say. As he would say this. Hmm, honestly, that would be easy. As after saying that, she would say this. Really? How? She would say. As he would say this. Don't worry about it. And also, if they are going to target that place, where is it going to? As she would say this. Well, it's apparently going to go over here, on the north side of the town, she would say. Or at least north side of Vale, she would say. As he would say this. Perfect. So, it seems that we got our target. Let's get going then, he would say. As she would say this. Yeah, she would say, specifically, Star. As for Blake, she would agree. As he would start moving out after getting out of the coffee shop that we were in. So, as we, time skip to about night. So, we would time skip to about, nighttime. As we currently see, Rex and the rest of like the group, specifically, you know, Sun and also, Blake. As all of them are currently watching the scene. As a large shipment of dust would be over there as several White Fang members would come out. As Rex would say this. Huh, so it is true, he would say. As one of them would say this, said Blake. But why? Why did he want to do this? But why, she would say. As one of them would say this, specifically, Star. Um, I don't honestly know, but it seems to be quite bad, she would say. As, Rex would say this. No kidding. Wait, it's probably the reason why I couldn't get that supply of like that new dust I was planning to get, he would say. As she would say this, specifically, Blake, as she would say this. Wait, watch, she would say. As after saying that, both Rex and his son would, Star would watch. As a few people would come out, being that of a few more, White Fang members, but not only that, a certain high level criminal. As everybody would see a man in a white, suit with gloves on. He also seems to be wielding a cane and has a bowler hat with greenish eyes and red hair, or more specifically, is a redhead. As he would say this, no, 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 you dumbasses, he would say. God, that's a rope, not a leash, he would say. As after saying that, everybody would just be in shock, as Blake would say this. Him? Why are they following him, she would say. As he would say this. I don't know, but honestly, this is definitely weird, he would say. As one of them would say this, specifically Sun. So, what are we supposed to do, she would say. As she would say this. Let me just do it, she would say, specifically Blake. As she would basically jump down, as Rex would say this. Blake, don't you! But before he can say anything else, she would finally be, she would basically leave. As he would say this. Damn it, he would say. As after saying that, you know, Blake would just, avoid all of the people's, or more specifically the White Fang members, attention and would basically start fighting, well, not really fighting, but more like captures, Torchwick as a hostage. As she would basically say this after grabbing him and putting him into a, headlock. As she would say this, brothers of the White Fang, she would say. As after saying that, several of the White Fang members would look over and would see Blake. As she would say this, why are you working with this scum, she would say. As some of them would just look around. As she would say this, I meant he, specifically, well, Torchwick. Oh, 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 don't you think, or do you know what the heck is the memo, he would say. I meant, Torchwick would say, oh, don't you know the memo, kid, he would say. As she would say this. What? She would say. As he would say this. Wait. Sorry about that. I got the sneeze. Anyway, continuing on. As he would say this. Well, we sort of had this joint venture. Wait. God damn it. I seriously had to sneeze again. Whatever now. Basically, he would say this. Oh, don't you know the memo? I basically decided to do a joint business venture, he would say. As she would say this. But why, he would say. As she would say that, I meant he would say this. Well, isn't it obvious? It's just business, he would say. As he would say this. Now, you damn idiots, get her, he would say. As some of the White Fang members would get ready their weapons. As she would just be stuck. As Rex would just be there as he would say this. Son, you can go, he would say. As she would say this. I meant, not stun, or I meant star. As she would say this. Right, she would say. As she would start getting ready, as she would use her staff slash, shotgun thing. And as for Rex, he would get ready a glyph, or should I say, summoning circle. As he would say this. Now, it's time for you, Tyrant. As after saying that, he would say this. Tyrant of the Frost. As after that, dark, almost snowy like, objects would start coming out of the circle. And so, this is where I'm going to be ending off this episode. So, yeah, bye bye!